Okay, we're live here in the Vet Sanctuary again. And we've got a very inspirational speaker for us today. Please say hi if you're watching. Here in the Vet Sanctuary, we like to talk about things that reduce our stress, boost our well-being, help us with our resilience and just joy in life and work. And I'm very excited to have Aneesa here with us today. Aneesa is, well, you're a jazz singer, you're a music teacher. Yes. I know you mostly as a performance coach.
Yes.
So you are one of these lovely people who help us get confidence and just feel really good finding our inner voice and speaking up and being heard about things. And the reason I've asked you in today, obviously we're all vets and vet nurses, we're not performers, but communication and sort of oral communication is really, really important in our job. We need to speak to pet owners, obviously, but also our colleagues, our bosses, sometimes in larger forums as well. And I do know that there are some of us who just find that a bit scary sometimes, that we've got things that we need to say. I mean, I've been in sort of practice meetings where I know I've got a colleague who's got a great opinion, a great solution to something, and they're just not speaking up because they don't have that confidence. Yeah. So Aneesa is the lady for this. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, and how you got into this? I know you're bursting to go. You're just infectious with your energy, so go ahead.
I know, when I get excited, I get headaches. Look, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be in your group with these amazing people. The way you've talked about the vet community and just because I love animals, I just know you are such giving people, and that is such a beautiful way to serve the world, because you're not just helping other people with their pets, you're helping the animals. You know, it's just
all about the animals.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. But as you say, it also comes back to how you look after yourself as well. So just a quick kind of setting the scene, really. I've always been quite a creative, bubbly person, but I did decide to train to be a barrister about 20 years ago. And I also love the theatre, I mean, being on stage, that is, and communicating and making people feel good, entertaining. But I did have a huge amount of self-doubt about my ability at various points along the way. And it kind of took about 6 years for me to decide to move from what I call the intensity of legal land to a different environment where I could still serve the world doing what I love, which is to help people make a difference in our crazy but fragile and beautiful world, doing what they're good at. But I learned along that way that you have to find a way to give yourself permission. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't know, or they know it, but they don't know how to do it. And I kind of came to doing that because I thought, right, if I'm going to bring this skill of helping people into the community or stepping onto a world music festival stage, I can't be waiting for permission, because there are too many people who'll tell me I'm not good enough, let alone myself. You know, I knew in my heart I could do it, but I was just really scared about, will I be accepted? You know, how do I do what I love doing without caring what people think? Because we care all the time about what people think. How do I look? Absolutely. How do I sound? How do I come across? And before you know it, you've lost yourself. You've lost your sense of identity. So 20 years ago, that was the route I chose to take. And I'm grateful and glad that I did. But it took about another 6 years for me to realize that there were other ways to take those skills and still enjoy life and still make a difference and be heard. And so as years went on, I started to carve out a career for myself. To start with, it was parallel to the work I was doing. And then it just became 100% self-employed as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, saying, I want to make that difference to people's lives. And I want to help them to find their inner voices like I did. So a lot of my work is about working with people who perhaps, let's take a parent who's in the playground. They know that their child is experiencing some difficulties at school and they just don't know how to speak up about it. And so they want to be able to find the confidence, the words, to be able to articulate, you know, I'm not happy about what's happening. I want to say it, but feel like I've been heard, and to see a difference be made. Because quite often when I'll sit in, I don't know, maybe an overview and scrutiny committee meeting, there'll be people who can speak up and have their voice because they're very vocal. But there are lots of other people around that table who don't. And it's encouraging and empowering those people to know that they too have the skill and ability to do that. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about, is that I know I'll have colleagues who, you know, away from that kind of, oh, everyone's looking at me kind of spotlight, they will have wonderful ideas and be able to really advocate for their patients or their clients. But you get into this area where, oh, now everyone's looking at me, everyone's listening to me. I can't speak, I'm too scared, you know, I've got all that self-doubt, what are they going to think about me, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so what do we do about that? How do we
tackle it?
Make that better? Yes.
I love that question. So when you think about yourself as being able to speak up and speak out and have a voice and be heard, a lot of people think it starts with that moment of actually being on stage. So the stage in this context is perhaps with the owner of one of the animals you're looking after, or someone in your team, in your working environment. That's your stage. You don't need to be on some big stage in order to be performing. And I use the word performing because actually, if you want to come across and make an impact, it's good to almost step outside of yourself a very little bit and accentuate things so that you're delivering things in a way that you can really get your message across, and you're enhancing everything about who you are. So it all starts up here. So if I said to you, you know, what's that about? Where does the whole idea of fear come from when it comes to public speaking or presenting anything? Fear, anxiety, nerves, I'd say it all starts up here. So in my head. And that's what we call mindset. So if you don't believe you can do something, you probably won't be able to do it, or you will, but either not very well, and you certainly won't enjoy it. So the work I do with people is help them get from I can't to, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it. I am doing it. And I'm enjoying it. Not just, I've got to get through this as quickly as possible. So we start with mindset. What's going on up here? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What are your emotions about you? What do you believe about yourself? And now how can we turn the negative things into something positive? And you might think, well, why are we starting with what your thoughts are? Actually, isn't it a case of just getting up and doing it? Well, no, because you need to do some mental preparation in order to execute what comes out physically in your body language. Body language is way more important than even the words that come out of your mouth when you're trying to get a message across. If you can't find a way to use your body language, your physicality, most of your message will be lost, more than 50%.
I'll just interrupt just for a sec, Aneesa, because at the moment, what's happening with a lot of vets is that we're doing a lot of communication on the phone because of COVID. We can't often have owners in the building with us, so we're having really complex conversations with people over the phone. Does the body language still come down the phone, do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah? So one of the things that I ask people to do when we're doing practice exercises, and that's the fourth before the end. So you've got mindset, planning, image, preparation, practice, and then performance. But if you're talking to someone on the phone, and this is something that's done in sales as well, well, I'll often say to the person who's doing the call, stand up and talk to that person as if they are standing right in front of you. Don't do it as if, don't do it in your pajamas and just hope for the best, because the energy that you're transferring when you speak with intention is going to be magnified if you do it from a place of intention. So standing up means that you're channeling any negativity into a really positive way. And that's through things like your breath. So if you control your breath and you think about the amount of breath you're putting from your diaphragm right through your larynx and mouth out into the space, if you do that with energy, think about what words you want to accent, what key messages you want to get across, and talk to the person as if they're actually there in front of you, you will feel so different than if you're just sat in your seat. And it also gives you a sort of space to kind of move around a little bit and command the situation. So you're back in that position of power and possibility and authority, rather than just, okay, I'm just on the phone now. That's possible too, but so much is lost because you can't see people.
Yeah,
so definitely,
absolutely.
without
Yeah,
a
no, I
doubt.
could definitely think of situations where that would help. So we've talked about mindset. I think that is a really big one, isn't it? Is again, I'm thinking of that situation in like a practice meeting where you've got all your colleagues all in one spot. You know, there might be 20 or 30 of them, and you've got something to say, and you're like, oh, but they're all looking at me. That mindset has to be, what I have to say is important, and I'm advocating for my patients, and that it's, you know, I'm worthy of speaking out and being heard.
Absolutely.
Is that the kind of thing is that most people feel, that kind of sense that, oh, I'm not good enough, where it has to get turned around and say, actually, no, I am okay. I am just as equal as everybody else in this room when it comes to looking after our animals.
Sorry,
Oh,
we are
go
all
ahead.
the same, and that's something I think we forget when we look at the hierarchy of an organization. And actually, we're all the same. You just have to find a way to get your message across in a way that's going to resonate with the people around you. So if you know that 9 times out of 10 there's going to be a certain person in that room that's going to monopolize the air and space, you have to do a little planning in advance, not just mentally, but possibly by speaking to whoever's running the meeting and saying, I'd like an agenda item on there. Please, can you make sure it's, it comes to the fore? And that could be about sending an email in advance. It could be about picking up the phone. You don't have to spend a long time justifying. You simply have to say, this meeting's coming up. It might be any other business item, or it would come under something specific in the agenda. But to say, can we please make sure that I'm able to speak at this meeting, please? And what I do when I work with clients is help them practice writing out exactly what they want to say and practice saying it. Because often there's this fear of, what am I going to do in that moment? So let's take a Q&A, for example. There might be an opportunity for people around the table to speak up. And you think, well, I wish I'd just thought a little bit harder and quicker before I came to the meeting so that I know exactly what I want to say when I get up and say it. So if you've practiced, if you know, say it's something like, I'm concerned about malpractice at this veterinary practice, for example. If you've practiced in your head how you're going to say it, how you're going to command that space, the eye contact you might have if you're on a Zoom meeting, the physicality that you're going to use to emphasize the gravity of the situation, then you can suddenly bring everyone in and lure everyone in into what your message is. But if you just kind of don't prepare, you're almost like a rabbit in headlights. You're not giving yourself the best chance to be heard and to be effective in getting your message across. Now, everyone is capable and should feel that they have permission to speak up. And some of the idea behind not being able to do that will be around what your perceptions are of the environment you're in. So you might think, oh, so-and-so always speaks, so there's probably no point in me trying. Or it could be, actually, everyone's desperate for someone else to have a voice and put something across. And some of that's about your own conversation with yourself. And, you know, an exercise I do with clients is to think about the speech bubbles around your head, the voices inside your head that are telling you you're not good enough, I can't do this, no one's interested, imposter syndrome, I'm not capable, all of those things. So if I asked you now, you know, what might be some of those conversations in your head or sentences, you could probably come up with about 2, 3, 4 different speech bubbles with words. It could be internal factors, could be external factors, like we always run out of time. So it's those things that you have to be a little bit crafty and nifty and plan ahead, that you're equal as far as the organization goes. It may be that you're not equal in hierarchy, but your voice and your experience, your professionalism is equal. So if you think of it as a game, then you can think, right, I know what's coming. I know there's going to be this long, lengthy introduction. I know that there's going to be a quick whiz over the last meeting before we know it at the end, and I haven't had a chance to say what I want to say. So when would be a good time for me to ask to make my point? Do as much planning as you can in advance. In an email, you can write things a certain way, but if it requires picking up the phone and you've got a little script written out or some bullet points that you've practiced and practiced again, that might give you a little bit of an advantage to before you get to the meeting. And then, you know, when we think about flow, you have to have planned what you want to say and practiced it. You know, you can busk it. I'm a jazz improviser, and, you know, that's great. We can all, within a structure, improvise our way through life. We do every single second. But actually, if something's really important to you, it's worth putting that time and energy aside. Say, how can I get the result and outcome I want? And that's going to mean a little bit of sort of, on the ball thinking and preparation in advance. Yeah, and talking to other people to support you. So you might have some peers you could check in with before the meeting and say, I'd really appreciate your support with this. All I need is the space and forum to feel that I can be heard. And it's simple things like saying, when I'm talking, do you mind just smiling and nodding? They don't, because the thing is, so often in performance, and that's what that is, you get up in that moment to talk, you don't get feedback. You think, are they interested? Or I'm just going to finish and hurry off now. Well, they are interested. It took me years to work out when I was singing on stage that silence at the end of a song didn't mean people hated it. It meant they were absolutely with me. They were taking on board what I was saying. It's the same when you're presenting in a meeting. You know, bring in the people around you, try and make eye contact, emphasize key points, use something, an aid or something that's going to help bring people a little bit closer to your point of view. There's nothing wrong with bringing peers in and saying, I'd love your support with this. And they'll say, oh, no, I don't know what to say. So don't say anything. Just show physically that you're interested, active listening.
Yeah,
you just
fantastic.
Smile.
These are great points, Aneesa. I know you've got so much more to talk about as well, but we've sort of talked about mindset and preparation and planning and practicing. You do have some exercises you want to do with us as well,
yes.
which I'm looking forward to. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we go into those?
Just to tell people about the course I'm about to run.
Yes.
If that's all right. Just
yeah,
really
let's do that now. Yeah.
So I'm doing a course. I'm delivering a course from the 7th of July for 12 weeks. So by the 29th of September, it will all be done and dusted. And it's called Presenting with Confidence. And really what I'm doing in that course is bringing together the last 25 years of experience that I've had of working as a barrister, working as a performer on stage, presenting to corporates and local businesses and entrepreneurs. So the course takes you on a very kind of step-by-step approach of how to do an effective presentation. And it starts with mindset. So we look at things like visualizations. So before you enter the room or even get onto stage, what's going on in your head? And how do you manage those thoughts so that you can channel that energy into something really positive? So we look at mindset, we look at planning, and that means me working with you. There's only 6 people in the group, by the way. So there's a lot of time over that 3-month period for me to really help you personally. It's not just a course where you watch online or go away and do it and I say, hey, how did it go? So we move on to planning, and that means putting together what I call script aids for you personally. They're bespoke. So it might be something that will help you in a meeting. It might be something that will help you with a big speech that you want to do. Some people have ambitions to do things like TED Talks. Some people want to do an elevator pitch so they can talk about their product or service. So after planning, we look at image. Now you might be thinking, well, why does image matter to me as a vet? Well, I can tell you why. Because if you are wearing underwear that you feel sexy and professional in, no one can touch you. You know, you think, well, who cares? But if you pay attention to yourself, your self-care, and what makes you feel good. Like for me, one of my trademarks is my shirts, my heels, and my dresses. And jackets. Okay, there's a few, but I take pride in those things and I love it. You know, I'm not a big fashion freak, but I have my own image that I've carved out over years. And for you as a vet as well, you know, to ask yourself, what makes me feel great when I step into my into the forum where I want to make an impact, you know, whatever that stage is. Are there props that I might need to aid me? Could be as simple as water or antibacterial gel, because certainly there's at least 40% of the population are nervous about stepping back out into society, reintegrating back into the work environment since lockdown is going to be lifted. And we can't ignore that. So anything you can do to help yourself feel more confident along the way is going to be good stuff. Then after image, we look at preparation. So we look at everything that was in the plan and say, right, what do I need to execute this effectively? Right, I need to prepare this 3 months in advance, this 1 month in advance, this 1 week advance, this every single day. And it's small things like perhaps affirmations or expressing gratitude each morning. You wake up in the morning and say, I'm just really grateful to be alive, you know. And those of us who have lost someone in our lives who really matter to them know that those words really mean something. And affirmations like, I'm a brilliant communicator. Whatever you think, I'm a brilliant communicator, and that feels good. But being able to say those things and really believe it will make a difference to the success that you start to experience. So after we've done planning, image and preparation, we move on to practice. And I talked about that a little bit a moment ago, but you need to practice regularly. You can wing it. We all busk our way through lives, but the course gives you a framework and accountability. So I'm there with you every single week on a Wednesday night, delivering the course and doing exercises with you. And then more or less one-to-one, because the groups are so small, on another day in the week, we go through the talk or whatever aspect it is we're working on at that point in the modules, and you practice with me. And we work through the things that you get right and wrong, make a mistake, make another mistake, and we work out what resonates for you. After we've done practice, we move on to performance. And that's the bit that everyone really gets nervous about. But if you've done lots of practice of performances, it won't feel as scary. So by the time you walk into that meeting, say 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line, you'll have practiced what you want to say and put everything into place. So you feel a lot more confident than you do today. And there's going to be one performance within the group with a Q&A, because a lot of people get nervous about having to answer questions they're not prepared for. But there's always an answer. 95% of what's going to happen in any situation can be predetermined and planned. And then finally, the last part is an option to share your talk publicly as part of a paid gig, really. So people will be invited to come along and watch you and give you feedback along with me, the other peers, you know, and sort of support essentially. So you can think, okay, I've made a shift from here to here, but now what I'd like to do is that, and move forward. So the course starts on the 7th. It's 1,200. The early bird's just finished. There are payment options because I know it's challenging at the moment. So if people want to take part but are worried about money, don't let money be the reason to stop you. I promise you it's an investment that's well worth doing. Like, people are more scared of speaking in public than they are of death. Yeah. Just think about that for a minute. People are more scared of speaking in public than they are of death. It's called glossophobia. So if something is that important to you, that you want to be able to build the confidence within yourself and see a shift in your life, not just at work, but in your private life too, then I think it's well worth investing in. It's not a lot, honestly.
My confidence feels like so much better just talking to you for 20 minutes. So imagine at the end of this course.
I'm so happy to hear that, yeah.
Well, what we'll do is we'll make sure we pop the links for all of that in the comments at the end, so people can get in touch with you and if they want to find out more, because it just sounds like an amazing opportunity.
Thank you.
And you had some exercises that you, or an exercise that you wanted to do.
So one of the things that a lot of people experience at the moment is anxiety, fear and nerves. So the exercise I'm going to do with you all is around breathing. You think, well, why do I need to do breathing? If you can control your breathing and your performance in life, you can control everything. So if I said to you, when you're nervous, where does that fear reside in your body? Just put your hand on your body. Show me for yourself, Catherine, where that is.
Yeah, up here.
Okay, so what happens?
Gosh, you feel so tightness and tense and yeah, like you want to close down a bit and protect yourself. Absolutely, lovely.
And when you're nervous, what happens to your breathing?
You'd forget to do it.
Absolutely. I love that answer because it's bang on. And I work quite a lot with people who are neurodiverse. So dyslexic, have dyspraxia, or ADHD, whatever the part under the umbrella that they fall under. When you are dyspraxic, quite often you do forget to breathe. I forget to breathe sometimes, and it's one of the reasons I used to get headaches. So
you know what, that's a really common thing at the end of a long consulting session, is the headaches, and I bet part of it is that we're not breathing while we're doing it.
Yeah. See, I do an exercise around something called the gift of breath, because if you can make breath your friend, and remember, it's not just a life source, but it's the thing that gives you power and control. So many things can change for you. So even when you're cold in the winter, there's an exercise where if you breathe in to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, and then exhale to 8, double the amount, it helps you warm up. So we'll do that one first, okay? So just breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just take a relaxer breath. Okay, so I noticed when you did that breath, it was quite shallow. So I'd say it was probably from, I wish I was a bit taller, from here to here.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is bring that breath much further down into your body, into your diaphragm, your rib cage, your back. If you think of your back as a diamond, you can really expand your breath. Okay, so just do a quick exercise with me. Just breathe in. When you've finished taking your inward breath, put your hand up. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we're on 4. Okay, exhale.
Yes, I did.
Some people forget. Right, this time we're going to breathe in, instead of through our nose, we're going to breathe in through our lips. So I'll demonstrate first. I'm going to exhale any breath I've got in me first. So it's like the wind's been taken out of your sails. Okay, so your stomach is pulled inwards. You've got no air. Okay, so we're going to take a deep breath. Okay, so
great.
It's got to be audible. If you don't get connected with everything that you have, all of the resources you have, you're always shortchanging yourself. You don't have to be big and dynamic every single second of your day, but you need to know what's there, because that means you know you can access it and call upon it if you need it. Okay, right.
Got it.
Exhale any breath that you've got inside of you. Okay, big breath in, put your hand up when you finish. Ready, go. 11. Thinking, I'm sure that hand.
Yeah, so my camera is there.
Yeah. So you went from 4 to 11. Right? Now, simply by doing that, what's happened to your frenetic energy?
Definitely feel calmer.
Yeah.
I know that kind of breathing also sort of stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system. It gets that side kicking in, so we get rid of that stress response.
Yes. Give me a high five.
What? Okay. I don't know if we can coordinate properly.
No, where is that? Okay, so what we're going to do is an exercise where I'm going to play a lovely little piece of music in the background. I love this music for teaching, because what it does is it immediately brings everything to a calmer, softer place. So if you're feeling really stressed out, it's good to find music that you know resonates with you. I remember when I was really stressed out years ago, and I used to find it really hard to switch off, because my mind would start to analyze the harmonic progressions in the music,
right,
which was great, but it wasn't what I needed.
Yeah.
So this music was introduced to me by a dear friend who's a wonderful yoga teacher in Thailand called Aneesa Chaudhry. And it's Devi prayer, and it's very long. So if you can't sleep, I'm sure that listening to this music will help you sleep. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and just take you through a bit of a breathing exercise as we do it. Okay.
Great.
If the music's too loud, Catherine, just let me know, or if I
Mhm.
need to go up or down, just say, okay? So I'd like you to just close your eyes, and I'm going to start the music, and then you'll hear my voice. Just allow your body and your mind to relax.
I think we might need the music just a little bit louder. I can hear it, but only just.
Is that better?
I can hear the voice in there, yeah.
So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to just picture a beautiful setting of your choice. It could be inside, it could be outside. It's your place, just for you, and no one can touch you or touch it. You might feel the breeze of the gentle wind touching your cheek, or the gentle ray of the sun kissing your eyelids. You could have your feet dipping gently into the waters of a river or the sea. I'm just going to take a nice big breath, as a sigh of relief might be. Let's do it together. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Hold the breath and exhale. Till you feel your stomach muscle engage. Take a deep breath in. Here we go. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. Until you feel your stomach muscle engage. And a nice big relaxed breath. Allow yourself to hear your inward breath and your outward exhalation. We're going to do it one more time. Big breath, breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. And just take a gentle inward breath. And just give yourself a moment to do nothing. Just imagine the sun's ray or the gentle breeze gliding across your body, scanning you with gentle softness and nature. From the crown of your head, across your face, and your shoulders, and your body, down past your thighs and your bottom to your legs, across your feet, just gently soothing you. Just take another deep breath. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. Till you feel your stomach muscle engage. And then a nice big relaxer breath. Just allowing yourself to take this moment just for you. You give so much to so many people. Just acknowledging the great work that you do in your professional life, in your home life. Just put your hand on your heart. Just press into it a little bit. Hold the palm of your hand all the way across your heart. And just say to yourself, thank you. Take a deep breath in. Thank you. One last time, acknowledging everything that you do, you have been doing for years, and you continue to do. Thank you. Just take a few seconds to be with yourself and think of one thing you might like to change or work upon. And just park it gently into your heart, ready to think about and perhaps act on. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and have an awareness of where you are. Back in
Back in the room. Very relaxed. Oh.
How was that for you?
That's lovely, isn't it? Anything like that it just makes everything feel better. It calms your brain. It just opens up your body. It's just lovely. I think it's so important that we take time to do things like that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. That was amazing.
There are lots of exercises we can do to help ourselves relax, and you just have to gift yourself the time. That's the thing I keep saying to people who are unsure, gift yourself the time, because if you replenish yourself, you can give more. It's the infinity cycle.
Absolutely perfect. Right on message for us here at the Vet Sanctuary as well. It's great. Oh, well, I might just float off now, Aneesa, and like have a rest. It's nighttime here in Australia, so I might just kind of wander off and go to bed. So thank you so much for joining us, and all your amazing knowledge and all the confidence that you've given us just by listening to you. It's wonderful. Yes. Like I said earlier, I'll make sure I pop your details in the chat after we've come off, so people can find you, and if they want to work with you, then they can do that too. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you did enjoy it, please pop us a little comment so that we know. If you're watching on replay, pop in #replay as well, so we know that that you've seen the amazing Aneesa. All right.
Take care. I'll see you all again sometime.
All right. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Bye.